As Rachel Scott has reported, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt doubled down today at a briefing saying the Trump administration would not rule out using military force to take control of Greenland. And on Monday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told senators in a briefing that the U.S. is seeking to purchase Greenland. For reaction now, we want to bring in Anders Vistisen, a Danish member of the European Parliament. Thank you so much for joining us. And what message do you have for the Secretary of State and also the Trump administration in general on these intentions to, quote, take Greenland?
I think it's an upfront and very concerning to the country of Denmark and the Kingdom of Denmark to hear this kind of rhetoric. I think we have been long-standing allies for more than 70 years. Denmark and the US are both founding members of NATO. So for a US presidency now to talk about attacking another NATO ally off the coast of a third NATO ally, namely Canada, that is simply not acceptable and ludicrous behavior from any normal standpoint.
As you mentioned, the Kingdom of Denmark and thus Greenland is part of NATO. So what reaction should the United States expect from the NATO alliance if the administration moves forward with its plans?
If you go strictly by the book and use military power against Greenland, then the other NATO allies should come to our aid. But I don't think we are going to come to that point. But just this rhetoric alone is going to create a much deeper rift through the transatlantic relationship. And the only thing that the US administration is going to gain from this kind of behavior is to push European allies in the arms of China.
You said you don't think that it will come to that point. In your mind, what will stop it, given that the president and his administration is now saying they're going to move forward with it?
What will stop it is hopefully the U.S. Constitution that doesn't really allow it, and so have several members of Congress stated today and yesterday. But also, it will be de facto the end of NATO if one NATO ally attack another one. So basically, it would be a breakdown of the Western world order that we have seen post Second World War.
President Trump has repeatedly said, as you know, that the United States needs Greenland as a matter of national security. But the U.S. and Denmark have a security treaty dating back to 1951. Would Greenland approve an increase in the U.S. military presence on Greenland?
The funny fact here is, if it was not almost tragic, is that it is the US who have retracted military capabilities from Greenland. From more than 30 active military installations in Greenland, they are down to one now. And that is a US decision to remove military capacity from the island. There is nothing hindering the US if there was a security need to ramp up that presence again within the NATO framework. So the argument used by this administration is simply false. It is also false that there's anything avoiding mining there. The Greenlandic government is more than happy to invite mining companies, but so far no mining venture up there have been deemed economical feasible. And the idea that the sea of Greenland is filled with Chinese and Russian vessels is simply false. No such situation is happening around the island of Greenland. So there is no logic behind the argument put forward by the administration, neither when it comes to security, rare earth materials or mining, nor the fact that there is no major presence of neither Chinese or Russian vessels around the island.
The administration says it needs Greenland, though, to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the region. Is that not at all a concern for Greenland?
Of course, it is always a concern when you have hostile powers. But right now, the only one threatening in the Arctic region by using military power is the United States government, not China, not Russia. And as I said, it is part of the NATO alliance, Greenland, and therefore it is protected by the strongest military alliance. And the only thing that can compromise that is if members of that alliance start to threaten each other with military intervention.
Anders Vistisen, member of the European Parliament, we thank you so much for your time and insight. Really appreciate it.